Hello, everyone. Hi. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. And I am relaxing out here in Berkeley, California, which it's actually pretty hot. It's 75 degrees outside. So that's pretty hot for us here. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to turn chaos into achievement. And I know a lot of you are experiencing a lot of chaos right now, or at least you have very recently, and you're trying to figure out, okay, now what do I do with what I'm learning amongst the chaos? And how do I actually turn it into something that is going to work for me and not against me? And the answer lies in one thing: start embracing the chaos as part of your job. I'll explain more about that in today's video, but that's really it. That is the key. My name is Stacy Mayer. I'm from Stacy Mayer Coaching, and I coach corporate managers to get promoted into senior leadership positions. I work with some of the world's largest and most prestigious technology companies and the amazing humans like you who work inside them. And I am on a mission to get 1,000 talented professionals promoted into senior leadership positions each and every year worldwide. So if you're joining me today, I hope that 2020 is your year to get promoted into a senior leadership position. If you are here, please say hi as we continue this conversation. So I was talking before, we actually have water cooler conversations once a week in a group, a business mastermind group that I belong to. And I highly recommend this, right? It's like one of the big things that a lot of corporate leaders are missing right now is just walking past people in the hallway. So we've artificially created that and call it a water cooler. And it happens every Tuesday at I think it's 12:30 p.m., walk past the water cooler, and that's literally what I do. I hop in and hop out as needed. So one of the women, I was telling her that I was going to go live today and talk about the subject, how to turn chaos into achievements. And she was like, "Oh, that sounds like my yurt." So I want to explain a little bit about what I mean by that. So she said she lives in, she has a huge field outside of the back of her house, and it was full of trees, just chaos, right? It was just had trees everywhere. It was just a mess. It was like this part of the yard that they couldn't use, right? And so she created, oh, hi, Hima. Great to see you. Oh, so wonderful to see you. If you have any questions as I'm talking, please, respond and type that in. But so she created a gigantic project for herself, it sounds like, but she turned these trees into a yurt, a foundation for a yurt, and built this platform that now she is building a home on, essentially. So it's going to have a house and, a yurt house and walls and so it's like we take the chaos of our life and of the trees, and you can't really see anything through it, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and then we turn it into something. So I'm going to show you in the next 5 minutes how you can turn a lot of what has been happening for you over since March 15th, doomsday. March 15th, which is actually my husband's birthday, so maybe I shouldn't call it doomsday. But anyway, so how you can turn that into achievements going forward. So I want to give you an example of a client of mine who's a senior manager. And when the chaos first hit, she actually decided to take the next week off work, like the very first week that it happened. And what happened to her is it was actually because one of her daughter was sick, and so she needed to be home with her daughter. So it kind of gave her an excuse to say no and to stay home. But what surprised her was that not only did she come back a week later way more refreshed than everybody else who had been there, but she had clearer ideas. She was able to be more forward thinking, and nobody said anything bad about her taking that entire week off. In fact, they really admired her and wanted to emulate her because they were, yes, partially jealous, but the ideas and the strategy that she was able to come up with was so much stronger because she had given herself that space to start, zooming out, to think big picture, to give herself that bird's eye view, so to speak. And so then we worked on coaching how she could keep that up. Because what happens after that is that you go back to work and you go back to your old habits, right? And you forget what you learned through the chaos. So, another point that I want to make as we're thinking about how to turn chaos into achievements is I want to show you that it's actually not the chaos that is a problem for us, right? So, the chaos itself actually is for a lot of my managers is really easy for them to deal with, right? So think about the mama bear and, and there's a car on top of her cub, right? So the mama bear gets super focused. She jumps right into action. She knows exactly what to do. She lifts the car up. She gets this amazing amount of strength, and she saves her bear cub out from underneath the car, right? It's super clear, it's super focused, and it's like, yep, I know exactly what to do. So a lot of us, what happens is during the actual storm itself, we know exactly what to do. But then after the storm, we get very confused as things start to settle down and we can't figure out, like, okay, well, what do we do next? So now what is happening for a lot of people is the dust is starting to settle and they're starting to realize, oh my gosh, I did all this work in March and April and May, and I'm going to have nothing to show for it come June, come September, come October, come review time, come the end of the year. And by show for it, I mean like a promotion or a pay increase, because you're also looking at your company and they're going through layoffs or, financial challenges. And you're like, well, now I'm really going to have nothing to show for it. Right. But if we start to embrace the fact that chaos is actually part of a job description, it's actually part of our work. So what I want you to look at is I want you to look at some of those qualities that came out of you during the storm, right? What were some of the things that you got super clear on and actually excelled at the time? And then now, as things are not quite as insane, but yet you're still finding yourself like working really hard, but you're not putting out any real fires. You're just sort of going through the day to day. I'm going to encourage you to actually create some of what I would call high performance leadership habits that are going to carry with you as you continue on in your career. So the first thing, when we're thinking about the mama bear and trying to save her bear cub from underneath the car, I want you to think about, what is the first thing that she did? If you know answers, like, tell me, write them in the comments about some of the things that she did. Even if you're watching this in the replay, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, because if we can think about why during the chaos we somehow are able to just get it done, like do really big, hard things. So the first thing that comes to mind is that she has a clear objective, a clear goal. So what I want you to create for, she was like, it's very clear, save my baby, right? So what I want you to do is create a clear objective for yourself. And if it's easy enough, just say, get a promotion, right? Like, call it a promotion. Call it I want to be able to XYZ by September. Right? So like, create a goal for yourself that's aligned with whatever your goals are in your career right now, and just choose it, right? Like, pick it. Don't spend a ton of time on it, but just pick that goal. So the mama bear had clarity of vision, right? Super clear, super focused. The mama bear, the second thing was focused, like decisive action, right? So when you look at your vision and you really think about, okay, what is it I want to achieve by September or October? I want you to just pick something, get very clear, very decisive, take specific action as to what exactly are you going to do to actually get there. Okay. And just pick something very decisive, very specific action. And then what are some more qualities that came out of you as part of my webcam here is like slowly falling off of my computer, which is about to, result in a bunch of chaos for you guys if it falls off. We'll hope for the best. But I want you to look at those high performance leadership habits that in the time of chaos, you were able to just really narrow in and focus and create some extraordinary results for your boss, for your organization, for your life. I told you this was going to happen. I knew it. See, and that's the other thing about embracing chaos is that we know we know it's going to happen, right? Even when I can see the webcam about to fall off, like I knew it was going to happen. I wasn't upset about it, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Right. So that's the first thing, is that it's just part of our job. It's actually just what happens on a regular basis. So I want you to think about those high performance leadership. Oh, now this is just ridiculous. Um, okay, we're going to wrap this up so that this doesn't keep happening. Sorry. Okay, so I want you to start to think about that. Actually, as a moment of calm, let me read a quote for you guys. This is from Pema Chodron. She is a Buddhist nun and an absolutely extraordinary human being who writes about chaos in times of uncertainty a lot. So this is a quote from her. Rather than being disheartened by the ambiguity, the uncertainty of life, what if we accepted it and relaxed into it? What if we said, yes, this is the way it is. This is what it means to be human, and decided to sit down and enjoy the ride. I love this quote. This is what it means to be human. This is what it means to be a corporate manager. This is what it means to be a senior leader. Embrace the chaos as something that is going to happen, and then figure out how you can thrive and turn that into your own personal achievement. I guarantee you, if you get clarity of vision, if you figure out what are those traits that you just automatically do in times of crisis, those things where you really get paid the big bucks because of it, right? And really just, as we move into this layer of uncertainty, this time of the calm, which is actually scarier than the chaos because we don't really know what to do, just rely on those traits that you were brought out of you in those times of chaos, and just start doing it. Become a crisis management leader, become an expert on chaos. Embrace that chaos is going to continue to happen, and that is how you will begin to turn chaos into achievement. And whatever your goal that you set for yourself for the end of this year, whether it's to get a promotion or it's just to have a voice at the leadership team meetings, which is not a just, which is a really big deal, then you will be able to achieve it if you start to learn and look within and say, okay, what are those qualities that I just already have, and how can I start bringing them to the surface? Thank you so much for listening today. If this seems like something that you want to dive a little bit more into and understand more, then I invite you to join my live webinar. I'm hosting another one next week. It's called How the Biggest Career Jumps Are Made During Times of Crisis. You can sign up at stacymayer.com/crisis webinar. I'm going to put that in here, and hopefully the webcam doesn't fall off again. There we go. All right. That is the link to the webinar. You can go there, you can sign up, and it'll be a live broadcast. So you can ask questions throughout, tell me about your specific situation, and let me help you advance your career even during times of crisis. Take care. Bye.